Welcome to another edition of Brevard News, your trusted news source for real news in Brevard County. My name is Kevin Jeffrey, your moderator, and I'm joined again by Katie Delaney in this segment, and also again with Jen Parrish. In this segment, we're going to have some interesting times here talking about county government. I took a foray for the first time into the chambers of county government. Oh my goodness. I thought that was a nightmare. One of the things that I saw, and we talk about it, this is the first time that I went to a county commission meeting, and I've seen it from afar, but once you see it in person, you can't unsee it. And some of the things that I saw, we'll talk about it, it's really astonishing what's going on in our government. And so the first thing that jumped out to me was the attitude of the commissioners. Now, I've studied the word hubris quite a bit. And so hubris, if you don't understand, you can check it out. A hubris person is a person that is very arrogant. And they're so arrogant, they look down on other people below them with contempt. I saw a lot of that. Show me where I'm wrong. Am I wrong? What gives anyone the right as a government official to believe that they're so arrogant that they're looking down on the people that they're supposed to be serving with contempt? And I just saw that. It was just in so many different examples, and we'll see some of the examples here tonight. You've seen this before, Jennifer.
Yes, I have seen it at the county commissioner level and in some of the city council meetings. I have seen it in both areas.
And what do you attribute it to?
My honest opinion, you have the same politician that basically has either changed their seat or changed their role, and they just have this arrogance about them that thinks that they are untouchable and that, we should bow down and thank them for their jobs when it's really the other way around. This job doesn't exist without our tax dollars, without our involvement with us, without us being here. So
This is really flipped. And I was telling someone earlier today, it's almost like an abusive spouse, in which the spouse now she identifies with her abuser and just are happy that she can get a morsel from him, right? And this is the attitude that they have, that they are the abuser and they're treating the people with such contempt that it's unbelievable. Now, you saw that, right? And we saw a classic example of it with Mr. John Tobiah, is that his name?
Right.
It was shocking what he did. And just walk us through what you saw happen there in that instance.
Are you talking about when he retaliated against?
When he retaliated,
Okay.
it was rather childish.
Right. So there was a person who participated in the Speak Up Brevard process, and one of her proposals got accepted, but with staff recommendation. And the proposal was, can we promote Speak Up Brevard? And so the staff recommendation was to simply just put the date on the county website where the Speak Up Brevard program is talked about. So what she had asked for was for it to get some advertising posted on Facebook, just get it out so more people know about it. And so she was not happy with the staff recommendation, and she said, "You're not really accepting my recommendation. And so I reject that this is accepted."
Correct.
And so Commissioner Tobiah, he basically retaliated against the citizen and just said, "All right, you don't like this? We'll just reject it."
It was, honestly, I was sitting there and it was shocking. It was like a little kid who was retaliating against another kid. We can't do any better than this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, and
We can't do any better than this for a government official?
Right.
we have seen them circumvent the process as far as where they're getting money for a feasibility study. When we saw the incorporation for Merritt Island, we've seen them circumvent the process as far as taking comment, voting, and then taking comment to basically silence the people that took time out of their day to get at this meeting to voice their concern for something that they're going to vote on. They basically pushed the people aside and said, "We're going to vote first and then listen to you."
Right.
Right. What's the point of it?
It's not how you basically gave the middle finger to every one of your constituents. And if you don't believe that, tell me, come on, tell me I'm wrong.
It felt like that I was at a kind of like a prison get together where the warden was given the instructions, you will do this, and it was just shocking. I don't know that the average Brevard resident understand what's going on in government. And so one of the things that struck me was the fact that they said no clapping. What are we in some kind of Gestapo? People can't clap?
Oh, at the school board level, you have some people on the crazy left that are telling our elected officials they can't use the bathroom, or like the mindset of people right now is like just completely upside down.
And so for the clapping thing, they don't want the public who's watching these meetings online to know that the room agrees with the speaker. And so they
Correct.
are just so hungry for this power that they can't even let go just a little bit to let people freely express their opinion.
I saw just unbelievable. Again, the only word I can come to is hubris, and how they just looked down on the people like they were maggots. I mean, and so I saw manipulation. Should I name who was doing it? No, I'm not going to do it. So I did think that Rita Pritchett was being very manipulative in a lot of the things that she was doing, because so she's trying to pat people on the back who went along with her plans and how she thinks people should conduct themselves. But anybody that didn't go against her, I just don't like this. Why? This is why I don't like this time of the year, because people act so bad. Well, people follow leadership. Leadership.
She's one of the ones that accuses people constantly of being political. Yet she's probably one of the most political people involved in the whole
Well, and you could
situation.
see it there.
Yeah.
And she was very vindictive. Anything that came out against her, she just was very vindictive. I mean, you go down to Steele, he seemed very political. And then Goodson and also the other guy,
Feltner.
Feltner, they didn't say much of anything, but I thought that the issue was that, if you don't say anything about what's going on that's wrong, you're just as much to blame. I mean, now I will give Goodson this, and this was a seminal moment. There was some people that were protesting the county commission in this idea of Speak Up Brevard. So Goodson, to his credit, did say, well, hey, why don't we try to pass a measure to speak with these guys, right? Isn't this a good thing? Wouldn't you think that would be a good
I
thing?
mean,
They are your
noble thing.
bosses,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Wouldn't it be a good thing to, do you know he made a motion from the floor and he asked for a second?
Yeah.
Nobody would second it.
Nobody
Not
else.
one single commissioner. Think about this now. Not one single commissioner would second his motion to meet with citizens about concerns they had about the county commission.
Almost as if they already had it played out that he
Right.
would throw out a layup and it wouldn't get taken, so that at least they tried.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to give him
Starve for
credit
effort.
because
I would not go that
I
far.
don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know the man's motives, so I'm going to test for his motives. But I do know that what I saw, because that really made them look bad.
Right.
That a guy makes a motion to meet with citizens, and there is no second, not one, not from Rita Pritchett, not from Tobias, not from Steele, not from Feltner, not one of them would offer a second for a motion to meet with citizens.
The thing that I was one of those people we were advocating for basically a workshop or some kind of meeting where the people who participated in the Speak Up Brevard process could have like almost a roundtable meeting with the commissioners, with the staff, to figure out how we can make some of these suggestions work. And even though there were a few suggestions in there that weren't in the purview of the
This is for the
conversation,
Speak Up Brevard, right?
Right.
Okay.
um,
Now, this is something that the county commission came up with, I think back in 2010,
right.
in which the citizens could have input and they would put in an initiative.
So it was actually a county charter amendment.
Okay.
So there was Dr. Fosno, and she really was advocating for strategic planning. And so that is where this whole Speak Up Brevard program came from. She wanted a opportunity for the people to give a robust proposal to the commission. She wanted that opportunity.
And by the way, it is the people's government.
Right.
It is the people's government.
And
Okay.
that
Thought I'd
amendment,
put that in there. All right.
that amendment was passed by the people of Brevard. And so this is something that the county is required to do. And honestly, I don't think that they like that. But one thing that I'm going to do once I'm on that seat is I'm going to advocate, I'm going to push as hard as I can to get more visibility to this program. And I'm going
A
to
lot of
push
people
as
don't
hard
know
as,
that it exists,
right?
right?
And I'm going to push as hard as I can to get that workshop because the people deserve to have their voices heard. And even if they have a proposal that is not in the purview of the county commission, maybe we could all put our heads together and say, huh, you really care about, let's say, election integrity. What can we do on a county level that could help, you know, help this process?
So out of 59 suggestions from the people,
Right.
now one of them, I joke with the county commission, was that they didn't want lawyers on the cable channel. Well, everybody should have been for that, right?
Right.
They voted that down. They're not any lawyers on the county commission, are there? Maybe, I don't know, maybe they have lawyer friends. You would have thought, I'm tired of seeing Morgan and Morgan on commercials. But you would have thought that they would have voted that down. No, I mean, they would have been for that. They voted that down. So out of the 59 initiatives that the people came up with, one of them, for example, was having later hours at libraries. Some of them were really good initiatives. Only 9 were accepted. And they did not have the guts to come to the people and to tell the people we only accepted 9. They went through staff, which we're going to talk about later, and they said, well, the staff told us we can only accept 9 of these 59 because the rest of them was legal. But why didn't you talk to the people? Why didn't you talk to the people? Am I wrong? Show me where I'm wrong here.
You're not wrong.
They basically don't want to talk to the people. Commissioner Steele actually sent an email to a constituent and said, our staff looked through all these proposals. We don't need to talk about all of them.
Which brings us to another point, and I'm going to jump the debacle with the Rockledge community and jump to staff. Where did we get all of these unelected bureaucrats? I was sitting there like Paul at Mars Hill, looking around at all of the idolatry. These people are sitting here, these so-called experts,
Right.
and they're telling staff what to do. They're bypassing the people.
Exactly.
100%.
They're bypassing the people. And staff is then hiding behind the people saying, well, we can't do that because staff, the commissioner saying, staff told us we can't do that. What kind of a process is this?
Right.
It is a bureaucratic red tape process. And it is just so deflating as somebody that's sitting in the audience wanting to be heard, thinking that you're going to be that one opportunity to voice. And it is really deflating. It needs to change.
So, what can we? So, we have lawyers on staff. Okay, I can understand lawyers who are retained to talk about the legalities of things that are done. Why do you need staff?
Honestly, I don't think you would save a little bit of money on a county side if you maybe utilize some of your volunteers. I mean, you have some of these constituents that will spend hours
Absolutely.
researching a
Absolutely.
dedicated issue that they're so well informed
Absolutely.
and passionate about. Why are you shutting them down just because you don't like what they say on that?
Well, and you have this situation with Titusville, right? And we talked about it, that Titusville has, the staff in Titusville had made recommendations about indigenous plants that needed to be planted in Titusville.
Right.
Did they listen to, not the staff, I'm sorry, it was an advisory committee. To TEC. Did they listen to the advisory committee? No. They went out and paid money, the citizens' money, to listen to someone else do what the advisory committee had already said needed to be done.
Right.
$30,000.
So
It is so deflating. And it's like, why ask for our opinion if you're just going to spend money over here? That doesn't make any sense.
some of the people that keep coming up in Titusville with regard to some of the money being spent, you wonder why. Some of the same names as far as contractors are coming up.
Names,
And what are we doing here? What's going on here? And
And then you wonder why they vote the way they do. Maybe it's because to make sure that money train keeps flowing.
well, you wonder. But the people allow it to be so. You are the one that can stop this. You. They understand that you're apathetic, that they want to make you just fold over and say, oh, nothing can be done. Just throw your hands up in the air. But on a local level, listen to me, on a local level, you can make it happen.
100%. We are here because we have been too complacent at the voting box way too many times. It is time we need to completely rechange every seat that is up for election this November.
Makes a huge difference, really, on the local level. You're going to be more affected by local politics than you are national politics, right?
A really good example of that is the people who have been fighting the Rockledge Drive tree fight. That this has been going on for 20 something years.
Has it been
And
going on that long?
right, yeah, it's been going on
Really?
for a really long time. And these people, they started a 501c3. They have a lawyer. Like they are so organized, and they've been fighting this, and they've protected their street and their trees for all this time.
And it's almost like the county has doubled down on this, right? And it's almost like, you can't tell us. Who do you think you are? You can't tell us. We're going to make you do this.
I have family who grew up on Rockledge Drive. They went to school here. They, school buses could get through, fire trucks could get through, ambulances. There's no reason why they have to destroy these people's street.
And they made a real good point that if you go into places like Savannah, you go into Charleston, there's a lot of streets like that of historical value that have
Exactly.
overhangs, right? And the beauty of it,
canopies.
you can see it right there in St. Augustine, right?
Right.
As you go to St. Augustine. So why do you want to make problems where it's not necessary?
Right.
Why? Why do you spend, 20 years fighting the people of the county?
Right. How much money have they spent in legal fees fighting these people about something that shouldn't even be a fight?
Yeah. It's really, I'm going to tell you, just for the first time going there, it was an eye opener. I mean, I was expecting to see some of it, but it was really shocking to see the amount of contempt
Right.
that the government officials had for the people that they're supposed to be representing.
Right.
I was speechless.
Yeah.
And so now you have also with the that you have a county manager, and you find out the managers like at the county, and really a lot of the problems here with the city. So the county manager is almost, I mean, he's in a similar issue. I mean, where he's not really for what the people want.
Right.
He's pretty much running it, and you see it even over in Cocoa, right?
The city, they have such a seat of power.
Right.
Because they basically behind the scenes are doing a lot of the string pulling. I mean, prime example, I think it was in Cocoa, the city manager renewed his contract,
Right.
negotiated to renew his contract before
Wouldn't that be-
November. Woo!
Wouldn't that be great if all of us could do that?
So
You go to your boss and tell you, I want to renegotiate right now.
right now, why? Because I'm afraid of what happens in the future. Well, that's not how any corporation, small business, or anything operates. If you
Right.
don't do your job, you're out. And he's doing a terrible job in Cocoa. He is.
Now remember, we looked at a couple of weeks ago that the Cocoa city manager is making about $196,000. The average for a 20-year city manager is
And
$97,000.
I read something that his average salary should be the average salary of your residents.
Right.
Yeah, help your residents where you live, the constituents you supposedly represent. That should be the baseline of your salary. That would change a lot of things, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would change a lot because over in Titusville, the city manager of Titusville is making $220,000. Right? So I said to the county commissioners the other day, I just wish that all the money was taken out of politics. Let people volunteer. Then you would really see who really wants to serve the people,
100%.
right? And when there's no money in it, and there's no so-called fame, and what I really just come to see is it's just amazing to me, the hubris that you see. So I'm going to read you something I read to the county commissioners as we get ready to close, and I read this to them the other night, and I hope that they took it to heart, but probably not. But this is from the Constitution. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. You see, this is not an open-ended checkbook where you do what you want to do. You're supposed to be representing the people. Katie, tell us as we get ready to close, how will you make this different? Please, Katie.
So one of the things is that I think is happening in our government across the board is people don't speak up. When they see a problem, they don't speak up. They're scared of the special interests. They're scared of not getting reelected. They're scared of so many things. And so that's one of the major things that I plan on doing. If I see something wrong, I'm going to speak up. I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about it into the microphone so that it's public record, so that it has to get some sunshine.
And it's not just it's for all people, right?
Right.
I mean, this is
All
something that
people.
we should be concerned about for all of the people in Brevard County, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, just the lack of transparency that we see in our community is terrifying, and it's why these people are able to operate however they please.
So do you think that the people have lost perspective, the citizens have lost perspective, and the government officials also for different reasons?
I think, like you said earlier, it's almost like an abusive situation. The people are beaten down at this point, and they look around and say, "What's the point? They're not going to listen to me anyway." And so that's why it's so important that we get people elected this election that care about the people and that actually want to serve the public. Because I'm not going to be voting for things that are going to hurt our community. I'm not going to be voting for just blanket approving reckless development, something that's really harming our community. We're running out of water to the point where they're having to make a plan to reuse sewage water. It's insane.
Right. And I mean, you would think also that they would come up with ideas like desalinization, which is advanced. Why would you go to sewage water? I mean, I think that it's really telling you that that's your solution. Sewage water. Reclaim sewage water. Really? I mean, there's other options you could go to that they would go to that. It really shows you the contempt they have for people.
They really do not like the constituents in their community.
Correct.
That's the
Correct.
cheapest route, the fastest route. That's what we're going to give.
Correct. Right.
Insurance, for instance. One of the reasons why our insurance rates are so high in the state of Florida is because the amount of flooding that we have. Well, maybe we need to stop clear cutting all of our lots and keep some trees so that we don't flood so bad.
And so you have all of this going on, and there's no pushback, and they've really just, it's almost, again, it's like an abusive situation. And I've seen these kind of abusive situations where the abusee then just kind of just is happy just to get a morsel from the abuser, right?
You have threats as far as like staff members or even police officers or staff legal aides there that have tried to speak up and have either been rearranged, reassigned, or possibly let go because they tried to do the right thing. So it really is a power struggle.
And even citizens have been threatened.
Have been intimidated and so forth.
Right.
But there's power in numbers, and really it's the group, it's the people. The whole of the people is stronger than any individual government official. And so as you decide, so you can say, hey, it's not on me, I can't do it. Yeah, you can do it. You just, if you want to do it, you can get it done. And particularly on a local level, it's easier. To elect Katie to county commission is going to be a shot across the bow of the establishment government that you are done. It will change politics in Brevard County. That's it for this segment. Thanks for watching another edition of Brevard News, your trusted news source for real news. I'm Kevin Jeffrey, your moderator. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, be sure to share yours to your social media feed as well. And so you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next Sunday.